In the quiet corners of a Tokyo bookstore in July 1999, an unassuming manga appeared on the shelves that would, 26 years later, send shockwaves across the entire Pacific Rim and alter the travel plans of millions. The book was titled Watashi ga Mita Mirai, The Future I Saw, created by an elderly manga artist named Ryo Tatsuki. What made this work extraordinary wasn't its artistic merit or commercial appeal, but rather its chilling claim. Every page chronicled actual prophetic dreams that Tatsuki had experienced since her childhood. 15 visions of the future, sketched in simple black and white illustrations, each more unsettling than the last. For 12 years, the manga gathered dust in forgotten corners of used bookshops. Tatsuki herself had moved on, the dreams fading into memory like morning mist. The world continued its relentless march forward, unaware that somewhere within those yellowed pages lay what many would later believe to be a roadmap of catastrophe. Then came March 11th, 2011. At 2:46 p.m. local time, a magnitude 9.1 earthquake struck off the coast of Japan's Tohoku region. The Earth convulsed with such violence that it shifted the planet's axis by 10 inches. Minutes later, tsunami waves reaching heights of 40 meters crashed into Japan's northeastern coastline, penetrating up to 10 kilometers inland. The Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant suffered critical meltdowns. Nearly 20,000 people lost their lives in what became known as one of the most powerful earthquakes ever recorded in Japan. In the aftermath of this devastation, something remarkable happened. Readers began reaching out to Ryo Tatsuki, their voices trembling with a mixture of grief and astonishment. They had discovered something that had been hiding in plain sight for over a decade. Printed on the cover of her 1999 manga were the words, "Great Disaster in March 2011. Tatsuki was as stunned as anyone. She had completely forgotten about that particular notation. The prediction hadn't even appeared within the manga itself, only on the cover, as if placed there by some unseen hand. When journalists pressed her for an explanation, the elderly artist could only shake her head in bewilderment. "I don't remember writing that," she admitted quietly. But the discovery ignited something far more intense than mere curiosity. In a world increasingly hungry for certainty in uncertain times, Tatsuki's manga transformed from an obscure curiosity into a precious artifact. By 2020, original copies were selling for up to 500,000 yen, roughly $3,500, on the secondary market. Desperate collectors scoured bookshops and online auctions, treating each worn copy like a crystal ball. The phenomenon grew so intense that an imposter began making the rounds on Japanese television, claiming to be the real Ryo Tatsuki and fabricating additional predictions about Mount Fuji's eruption and other disasters. The fraud continued until the fake Tatsuki's predictions failed to materialize, not before adding another layer of mystery and confusion to an already bewildering story.
In October 2021, recognizing the unprecedented demand, publisher Asuka Shinsha released a complete edition of The Future I Saw. This new version included something that would soon send ripples of fear across the entire Asia-Pacific region: a previously unpublished dream entry describing a catastrophic event set to occur in July 2025. According to this newly revealed vision, Tatsuki had dreamed of a massive fissure opening in the Philippine Sea between Japan and the Philippines. The ocean floor would crack, she wrote, creating tsunamis 3 times as tall as those from the Tohoku earthquake. Waves potentially reaching heights of 120 meters. The destruction, in her dream, would be absolute. Japan would be wiped off the map. The specific date mentioned was July 5, 2025, at precisely 4:18 a.m. What happened next defied all rational explanation. As 2024 drew to a close and 2025 began, social media platforms across Asia erupted with discussions about Tatsuki's prophecy. Videos analyzing her predictions garnered millions of views. The hashtag July 5th, 2025 began trending across multiple countries. Comment sections filled with debates between believers and skeptics, but something peculiar was happening. Even those who claimed not to believe were quietly adjusting their travel plans. In Hong Kong, bookings to Japan plummeted by 50% below the annual median. For flights scheduled in late June and early July, cancellations reached a staggering 83%. Airlines began reducing their routes to Japan. Greater Bay Airlines cut flights to Sendai and Tokushima airports, while Hong Kong Airlines eliminated its Sendai service entirely. Korean travel bookings dropped so dramatically that ticket prices fell below 100,000 won. Similar patterns emerged across Thailand, Vietnam, and the Philippines, where social media warnings about traveling to Japan were overflowing across platforms. The economic impact was so severe that major international news outlets began covering the story. The Guardian, CNN, and Le Monde all published articles about how a 26-year-old manga was reshaping tourism across the world's third-largest economy. A June 2025 opinion poll revealed that nearly half of the Japanese public, 49.4%, had heard rumors of the prophecy. As July 2025 approached, something even more unsettling occurred. From June 25th to July 4th, the remote Tokara Islands in southwestern Japan experienced 1,198 earthquakes, the most intense seismic activity in the region since 1995. The largest quake, occurring on July 4th, registered at the lower end of 6 on the Japan Meteorological Agency scale. Residents reported strange roaring sounds from the sea, and the constant tremors were so severe that many couldn't sleep. 31 residents requested evacuation to mainland Japan. For believers in Tatsuki's prophecy, these earthquakes felt like a countdown to catastrophe. The timing seemed too coincidental to ignore. July 5th was less than 24 hours away. On July 5th, 2025, at 4:18 a.m. Japan Standard Time, something unprecedented happened. Absolutely nothing. The sun rose over a peaceful Pacific Ocean. No fissures opened in the sea floor. No towering tsunamis materialized. Japan remained precisely where it had always been. On Chinese social media platform Weibo, the phrase, "nothing happened in Japan," became the day's top trending topic. Yet the story didn't end there. Later that month, on July 30th, a massive magnitude 8.8 earthquake struck off the coast of Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula. The resulting tsunami waves did indeed reach Japan, impacting Hokkaido at 10:40 a.m. JST. While the event was far less catastrophic than Tatsuki's vision had suggested, it reignited discussions about whether her prophecy had been directionally correct, if not precisely accurate. Seismologists and earthquake experts had, throughout this entire episode, maintained a consistent and clear position. Earthquake prediction is impossible with current technology. The Japan Meteorological Agency described accurate earthquake prediction as a hoax. Ayaka Ebita, director of the Earthquake and Tsunami Observations Division, emphasized that any correlation between earthquakes and the prophecy was totally coincidental, given Japan's geological conditions, urging people to base their judgment on science.
Dr. Shengxi Wei, assistant professor at Nanyang Technological University's Asian School of the Environment, explained that earthquakes occur at the boundaries of tectonic plates. Tatsuki's prediction of a catastrophic event originating from the center of a plate contradicted all current scientific understanding of seismic activity. But science, for all its precision and logic, cannot fully explain what happened with "the future I saw." How does one account for the March 2011 notation that even Tatsuki herself couldn't remember writing? How do we reconcile the fact that a woman with no scientific background accurately dated one of the most devastating natural disasters in Japanese history, down to the specific month and year? Tatsuki herself, now in her 70s, has repeatedly urged caution. "Don't be overly swayed by my dreams," she advised those who sought certainty in her visions. She has maintained that her experiences were simply dreams, vivid, disturbing dreams that she felt compelled to record, nothing more. Today, copies of The Future I Saw continue to circulate, their pages carrying the weight of humanity's eternal desire to peer beyond the veil of the present moment. Publishers have announced an upcoming film titled 4:18 a.m. July 5, 2025, though neither Tatsuki nor her publisher are involved in its production. The manga's influence extends far beyond its pages, having become a cultural phenomenon that reveals as much about our collective anxieties as it does about the mysterious nature of precognition itself. In our age of big data and predictive algorithms, of satellite monitoring and seismic sensors, the story of Ryo Tatsuki's manga reminds us that some mysteries resist technological solutions. Whether her visions represent genuine glimpses into future possibilities or simply the product of an extraordinarily vivid imagination may be less important than what they reveal about the human need to believe that someone, somewhere, might possess the key to tomorrow's secrets. The most unsettling aspect of The Future I Saw isn't what it predicted correctly, but what it suggests about the thin membrane between our waking world and the realm of dreams, and the possibility that sometimes, just sometimes, that membrane might be more permeable than we dare to imagine. As you close your eyes tonight, remember that in a quiet corner of Tokyo, an elderly manga artist once documented 15 dreams that seemed to carry the weight of future worlds within them. 13 of those dreams, as far as we know, remain unfulfilled.